In this video, I would like to talk about new Canadian border measures now in effect March 2022. If you do not know, travelers may now enter Canada with an antigen test and other COVID-19 measures in effect as of February 28. As of February 28 at 12:01 a.m., Canada is allowing travelers to enter the country with a pre-arrival antigen test. Before, travelers needed to have a molecular test, such as a PCR test, taken within 72 hours before their scheduled flight or arrival at the border. All travelers to Canada age 5 and older still need a COVID-19 test before crossing the border. The new measures allow for incoming travelers to provide an antigen test result taken within 1 day before their scheduled flight or arrival at the land border. The test cannot be taken at home, it must be done by a laboratory, healthcare entity, or telehealth service, and be authorized by the country in which it was purchased. PCR tests are still accepted. No rules have changed for pre-arrival PCR tests. In addition to the removal of the PCR test requirement, unvaccinated children would no longer have to isolate for 14 days, and international flights would resume at all airports. What you should do if you have recovered from COVID-19. Travelers who continue to test positive for COVID-19 after recovering are allowed to board a plane, with some conditions. You need to provide a positive COVID-19 molecular test on a specimen collected at least 10 days and no more than 180 days before entering Canada as part of the pre-arrival test requirements. Let's talk about ArriveCan app. All travelers still have to submit their mandatory information via ArriveCan. Incoming, travelers can use either the desktop or mobile app to submit their proof of vaccination in English or French, and a quarantine plan prior to arriving in Canada. Let's talk about travelers who are not fully vaccinated. Partially vaccinated and unvaccinated travelers will need to quarantine in a suitable place for 14 days, and take a mandatory COVID-19 test on arrival and on day 8. Let's talk about fully vaccinated travelers now. Fully vaccinated travelers do not need to quarantine upon arriving to Canada, provided they meet the following criteria: meet pre-entry testing requirements, have no symptoms, submit all required COVID-19 information to ArriveCan and present their ArriveCan receipt, pre-departure test results and paper or digital proof of vaccination documents before they board their flight to Canada, have a suitable quarantine plan in case they don't qualify for the exemption. Now, let's talk about mandatory random tests upon arrival. Border Services officers may randomly select you for a mandatory arrival test. If you are fully vaccinated and are randomly selected for a mandatory arrival test, you must take the arrival test as directed on the day you enter Canada. You may get the test at the airport, or officials may give you a self-swab kit at the airport or land border to complete within 24 hours after entering the country. If you are randomly selected for the on-arrival test, you do not have to wait for the results. You can travel to your final destination and take connecting flights, and you do not have to quarantine while waiting for your results. The Government of Canada says you can speed the process along by registering in advance with the testing provider for the airport you will arrive at using the same email address you used for ArriveCan. Now let's talk about for modified quarantine for children age 12. Children under 12 years of age who are not fully vaccinated, traveling with fully vaccinated or medically exempt adults will be exempt from quarantine. They no longer need to wait 14 days before attending school, camp or daycare. These children may be selected for mandatory random testing upon arrival, but they will not be required to quarantine while awaiting the test result. In the end, please like and subscribe to the Canadian Jobs Explore YouTube channel with hit the bell icon. Thank you.